Hi, today's good person to know is Holloman. He's Senior Business Development Manager, Europe for Glassdoor. And just to give you a little bit of background, Richard Barton, who founded Expedia and also Zillow, which is called Zoopla in the UK, founded Glassdoor simply because he wanted to eliminate the need to have a middleman. There's no reason to have an agent when you can go directly to the source. So what is Glassdoor? It's a review site. It's a place where present and past employees can write a review about the company they have or are working for. And that's the stipulation. You have had to be an employee. It's completely anonymous and free to use, and they have a give to get model where you're encouraged to contribute towards the site. It's been operational for 5 years and has 20 million registered users, of which 15 million use the site each month. You can find all sorts of company information, such as if employees like their CEO, what the recruitment process is, the culture of the firm, and so on. Glassdoor is also able to offer a bunch of stats so that you can find out exactly how many people are viewing your profile. You can post jobs and find out how many people are looking at your positions that you're advertising. I hope you enjoy this video. It's really relevant for companies who are wanting to spread the word. If they're a fantastic company, then it's good that you've got people talking about you. And if you're a job seeker, this is the ideal place to go so that you can find out what people are talking about when they're talking about the company you are hoping to go for. So I hope you enjoy this video and thank you for watching.
It was founded by a guy called Barton. He founded a company called Expedia 15 years ago or so, which I'm sure everyone is very familiar with. Expedia, as you know, is a way of disintermediating the relation between the travel agent and the customers. The customers now don't have to go to the high street, don't have to go into that shop to find out about airfares and hotels. They can go to Expedia. It's all about transparency, really, of pricing. That worked pretty well. A couple of years later, he invented a company called Zillow. And Zillow is called Zoopla, or the equivalent is called Zoopla here in the UK, which is all about letting people interested in evaluating the houses to get the evaluation done online rather than going to the estate agents. So again, you don't need a travel agent on Expedia, you don't need an estate agent on Zillow. And again, it was very successful. So he's asking himself, I think I'm onto something here. It's about removing the middleman. What other industries or sectors can I introduce transparency? Well, he looked at recruitment. He figured that if you want to get a job somewhere, you kind of need to know someone on the inside to find out how much you should be paid or what kind of interview questions you should be expecting to be asked. Or you go to a recruitment consultant. Well, again, we can intercept the relationship and introduce that information to the candidate. So he launched Glassdoor on the back of the success of Expedia and Zillow with the goal of introducing a transparent information source for candidates. Some people liken Glassdoor to TripAdvisor. And that's kind of funny because the CEO and the founder of TripAdvisor sits on our board. So I think this paints a nice little picture of our heritage and what we're aspiring to do in recruitment. You come in, you enter the company you're interested in, you can type in your own company, for example, and see what maybe previous employees have said or current employees. They never have to give away their name, so that's why they're feeling comfortable sharing information about the company. The website is completely free to use, but after you browse for a few minutes, we will ask you to contribute something to the site. We call that give to get model, and that's how we managed to build up so much content over time. The site's been around for 5 years now, and we have over 20 million registered users. Every month, over 15 million people come to the website, 600,000 people in the UK alone. Companies like yours, salary levels, you're paying your staff, what the recruitment process was like, and what the culture is like. Do they like your CEO? What's wrong with the company? Do I believe in the future prospects of the company? Planning a trip, I always go on TripAdvisor. I always sort of compare, what are the good spots to go to, what are the nightclubs, what are the hotels. Turns out candidates do the same when they're looking for jobs. They want to compare employers. It's kind of good to know that the average job seekers will not just read one review, they will read on average up to 7. People will not just listen to what previous employees or current employees are saying, they will also come to your career website. First thing is enriching your profile. It's quite easy to create a profile on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and it looks pretty bland, usually quite grayish. I think seems to be the theme of these generic default pictures or placeholders for pictures. So what you need to do is obviously make sure that you have edited and optimized it and tuned it as much as you possibly can. And try to get a consistency across the platforms. Using a picture, using logos, use the same logos across to make sure it gives a consistent and impressive message. Encourage your current employees, the people that hopefully are positively inclined to your company, to review your company. Being more proactive about soliciting reviews. So the more reviews you have, the more likely you are to have good reviews. In fact, 2/3 of the reviews on Glassdoor are positive in sentiment. Another thing too, which is good to know, is that when people are asked to review your company, they are not just able to say the bad stuff. They also have to say some of the good stuff. And similarly, if you are working for HR and you want to post your own little review, you can't just say all the good stuff. You need to acknowledge some of the things that you might be working on. Because there's always room for improvement. No one is perfect. If you got upset by anything he or she had said, you can flag the review, and that will prompt our the people review team to look at this again, to see if it's breaking any of our rules. If you like what the person is saying, or if you have a comment to what the person is saying, you can respond to that. An employer on Glassdoor, you can see stats on how many people are viewing your profile. You can see trends over time, an idea of who is looking on your website. So in this case, on Glassdoor, you can see the educational background, you can see what, men or female or man. This is actually from PepsiCo. PepsiCo in the US. They seem to have a male kind of orientated audience. You can also see who else you're competing against. Who are the employers that your candidates are choosing between? You can post jobs, and on Glassdoor you can see how many clicks each vacancy is getting. We look at what people are saying about you, and you tell us which competitors you'd like to be benchmarked against.